It is Monday morning, evening California, and maybe, just maybe, the air smells a little sweeter. The state finally has a budget. It only took 100 days, roughly. And it includes $5.3 billion worth of federal help. Some might call that a federal bailout. We'll talk about that. Here's the company we have with us. We're going to talk about all kinds of ways of burning your money, by the way, this entire week. Charles Payne's here, Tracy Burns here, Chris Scott also right here. Aaron McLear, Press Secretary for Governor Schwarzenegger, joins us to talk about that California budget, bailout or no. Mike Reagan is also here to talk California and foreclosures. Nicole Petalite is on the floor of the stock market, to the floor of the exchange there, dead flat thus far. We start where we often do at this top of this hour, in California. Here are the facts on the new budget. It includes state worker pension benefits that are rolled back to pre-1999 levels, but only for new hires. $7.5 billion worth of spending cuts and more than $5 billion worth of assumed federal money. Sounds like a bailout, doesn't it? Not according to Governor Schwarzenegger's spokesman, Aaron McLear. Listen to this. It's a bailout.
It's not a bailout. We're not asking for a bailout. We're asking for the money that we're owed.
I have to do this in the spirit of Stuart Varney. Another week, another scandal. Is California just that much closer to that federal bailout?
No, we're not going to ask for a bailout. We never have. We never will. We're asking for a fair share. Only on Fox Business is that inevitable because no one else is talking about it, Charles.
Only in the alternate reality universe of Fox Business and Stuart Varney is that going to happen. I mean, that's not
No, come on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Aaron McLear joins us live and in living color from Sacramento, California. Okay, Aaron, I'll negotiate with you. I will not call it a bailout, but I will say that you are getting federal help provided by the taxpayers of Nebraska, Missouri, Texas, and other states which you've been making fun of for decades.
Well, I'm not quite that old, but let me make a couple points real quick. First of all, we're a donor state, so there's a few states in the union that actually pay more in federal taxes than we get back. We get about 79 cents for every dollar we send. Now, there's welfare states like Alaska, the Deep South, New Mexico. Those states actually get back more from the federal government. So California effectually pays for the programs in those states. All we're doing, as I've said all along, is trying to get some of that money back, which is exactly what this is.
All right, we'll agree to differ, but you are getting $5.3 billion worth of federal help. A give back, if you will.
We hope so.
Okay. Now, this budget also assumes that your tax revenues to Sacramento are going to go up $1.5 billion because you say the economy will improve. That's a lot of wishful thinking, isn't it?
Well, that's a figure that the nonpartisan legislative analyst has come up with. Now, we also have a lot of cuts, as you point out, about $7.5 billion worth of cuts after last year cutting about $30 billion out of our budget. And you also mentioned, I'm glad you did, the pension reform, which is huge. The governor from day one said we're not going to do a budget without pension reform, budget reform, and we can't do it by increasing taxes. That's exactly where we're landed, so we're happy about that.
Well, look, fair point, but that is for new hires. You've got pension reform for new hires. Doesn't do anything about the existing pensions for workers who have retired or are about to retire. But hold on a second. You also assume in this budget that state workers are going to take a pay cut. That's an assumption written into this budget. You can't assume that because these employees haven't agreed to it yet. You see, the point is, Aaron, this is not a real solid budget. There are so many assumptions and projections built into it which you really cannot rely on. That's why I've called it essentially Fantasy Island budgetary.
Well, not at all, Stuart. Actually, last week we came to an agreement contractually with the largest state employee union, SEIU, right before the budget was passed. And in that agreement, both legislatively and contractually with the union, they've agreed to those pay cuts. And so for current employees, all current employees are going to have a 5% pay cut, a one day a month furlough for the rest of the year, and some other cuts. So we've actually been able to cut back last year and again this year in our state workforce. And you mentioned pensions. Actually, current workers are going to have to pay more into their pensions, 3 to 5% more, which is among the highest in the country. So not just for new hires, but also current hires, we've done more on pensions than anyone in the state or anyone in the country.
Just straighten me out one more time. Am I right in saying that the budget has been signed, sealed, delivered? Is that correct?
That's right, Friday night.
So no IOUs. You're in the clear on this one.
We hope so. It looks like that. The controller is in charge of that, the controller John Chung, and we believe it's going to be the case. Certainly, a 100-day late budget makes cash more precarious. So we're hoping that getting that budget done is going to not have us do IOUs, but that's up to him, and we hope this has been avoided.
Aaron McLear, we always appreciate you being with us. Thank you once again, Aaron. Good stuff. Thanks.
Thanks, Stuart.
Back to the